anything on it. Summit and Destiny have met 7 times before. Tonight is number 8.
And the Tennessee Volunteers are the SEC Tournament Champions. It's been a long time coming. The last time Tennessee won this tournament was in 1979, but they've got another trophy to put in the trophy case at Thompson Bowling Arena.
The 2023 SEC champions, the Tennessee Volunteers.
Hit high in the air into left field. Stevenson circling in front of the fence into foul ground. He goes into the corner, makes the catch, and that's the ball game.
And the Volunteers will hold the trophy.
How much fun is this, man? God, I love it. High fly, deep right, and Tennessee walks it off.
The 2-2 to Denton.
Well hit deep left field. It is gone.
For the win for the Volunteers. From 40. On the way, a knuckleball. He got it!
How much fun is this?
Man, Rocky Top. This is college football at its absolute best.
Gentlemen, this is college athletics at its absolute best. Welcome to the Vol Fanatics Show. We have just wrapped up Game 2 of the College World Series. We're feeling pretty good, Michael. Michael, my co-host, how are we doing tonight?
We're doing good. We've already got guys tuning in. Justin, we appreciate you commenting in. This has been a fantastic couple of days. Started off a little bit sketchy on Friday night, but, man, we got it done. Huge comeback that we will get into in just a little bit. Topped off with another win tonight. We're sitting in the driver's seat, man, in the CWS.
Well, we're sitting in the driver's seat now, but, man, it was quite a road to get there, and we're going to talk all about it. But before we get into that, I'd like to recognize our presenting show sponsor, and that is Chris Smith Insurance. As a homeowner, Chris Smith was once let down by an insurance company, so he decided to start one of his own, where instead of feeling like a big company is fighting against you, you'll know that your agent is fighting for you. All insurance is not equal. Trust the Chris Smith Insurance today. Call 865-272-3387 to get a quote and to get to know your agent. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you, Chris, for the continued support. We're definitely going to get into segment 1, which is going to be about this crazy game 1 of the World Series. But before we can do that, let's talk about all 3 games to start out the World Series. Michael, what was so unique about the first 3 games of the World Series that the people need to know about?
It was the first time in history that all 3 games started off with a walk-off hit. So in game 1, you had North Carolina and Virginia. North Carolina gets a walk-off single, I believe it is, to beat Virginia. Tennessee, later that evening, a walk-off double to win the game. And in game 1 yesterday, between NC State and Kentucky, ends in a walk-off solo home run by Kentucky. And then even last night, it wasn't a walk-off, but I guess technically you could say a walk-off home run robbery.
It was a robbery, and it was in the 9th inning, and it would have been a walk-off if it went over the fence.
Yeah, so just insane start to this series. Today's games had a little bit more of a spread out score, but still, I mean, you never felt comfortable even down to the wire. But we're going to get right into Tennessee's. As segment 1, it is going to be that crazy game 1 against Florida State. Segment 2 is going to be the North Carolina victory that just happened. And segment 3, we're going to have a little bit of fun. We are going to try to keep this short tonight, but we're going to rank 5 of Tennessee's clutch hitters in the Tony Vitello era. So a little bit of fun there to close out this show tonight. And with that, we will get into segment 1. I will give you our segment 1 sponsor, which is Optimal Asbestos Services, your trusted environmental consulting firm in Knoxville, Tennessee, state licensed and insured. We specialize in asbestos air quality management for commercial buildings and homes. Contact Jeff Mole at 865-223-3297 or on the web at optimalasbestosservices.com. So we appreciate you very much, Jeff, for being our segment 1 sponsor. And Skylar, what about this game against Florida State?
Dude, what about it? I'll tell you what, I was for 8 innings pulling my hair, saying, man, this is just another Tennessee Vols choke job, number 1 seed, and can't seem to make it happen. Credit to Florida State. They were all over us early. But I will say this, at no point in this game did I feel like we were out of it. I think that's something that I can hold my head up high knowing that I carried that throughout the 9th inning. I was sitting there counting, like, how many batters have to get on base to get Simo back to the plate. Like, I was doing all the math in my head. This game was wild. And a game where we came out hot, right? Got up to a quick and early 4-1 lead. And then Florida State just goes on a tear, and I believe the 4th inning or 3rd inning. It was a long inning. But credit the boys for never giving up. I think Cal Stark had a lot to do with that in the dugout. I know he didn't have a great day at the plate, but I think his leadership role really showed. And then, I'd be remiss not to talk about the cycle that Simo had. The second ever in the College World Series. But, guys, I think the first one happened in, 1957 or something.
Yeah, 1956.
Okay. It's virtually or basically the first cycle ever. I know you don't want to discredit that guy in 56, but – the field's changed, the game has changed tremendously, and nobody's done it in the common era, right? So it was an all-around great game, a clutch hitting by a lot of people. I know Simo had a big game, but I don't want to shadow what Dylan Dreiling did at the plate. Just a massive day. I believe he went 4 for 6.
Yeah.
And, obviously had the walk-off hit, but Kavares Tears, everybody from the top down. Was it a check swing? Was it not? Doesn't matter. It wasn't. It's a controversial call, yes, but it's an opinionated call. It's not. It's just one of those things. It's almost like a pass interference call in football, right?
So I have since found this out, but I was wondering live when it happened, why in the world did Florida State not challenge that? Come to find out, it is not a challengeable call.
It's not.
Or not a challengeable play to look at a check swing or not. But I was talking with Jesse from Plant the Spear Pod after that happened, and I was like, why did Florida State not challenge it? And he said, I'm not sure. I was sitting there waiting on it, and then we found out later it can't be challenged. But Jesse and I were talking back and forth there in the game, and he said, man, we gave the number 1 team in the country all that they wanted and then some. And I said, dude, I don't want to see y'all again. I said, y'all had me worried. Y'all's batting lineup is insane. It kind of what he said. He said, once they got past Arnold, the starter, the bullpen was going to struggle. And that's what I texted you at one point, and I said, I'm not worried about Tennessee being out of this because Tennessee is very good against teams' bullpens. And we see what happened at the end of this game.
Well, and I think you've seen it if you watch the game one today. Florida State does have a massive bullpen problem. Now, they took care of business today thanks to their offense, but even when they got to the bullpen against Virginia, they gave up 3 runs in the 7th and 8th inning, I believe. All right, don't hold me to that. But once again, it was just kind of one of those things where, Florida State, if they're going to win a game, they're either going to have to do it with their offense or have dang near a complete game from their starting pitcher. But, like I said, credit to Tennessee. They battled. They actually put up, I think, 6 earned runs against their number 1 pitcher, which is arguably one of the best pitchers in the game, right? The dude's ERA was outstanding. I think he's pitched over 100 innings. Excuse me for not knowing his name. Hang on one second. Maybe I know
is Arnold. I can't remember his first name off the top of my head, but it's Arnold.
You're right.
Is his last name.
Yeah, I can't find him. But
he's arguably going to be a top 10 pick next year. He's trending to a top 5 pick for next year because he's not draft eligible this year.
No, he's a solid pitcher. He just ran up against an offense that's really hot. I just got to credit the team, man. Giving up a 6 spot and then following that up with a 2 spot in the 3rd and 4th. And this team's still finding a way. That has got to be something that, what was it? In the 9th inning, right? Kavares Tears leads off with a triple.
Yeah.
Clutch. Dean Curley dang near hits a 2-run bomb, but it ends up being a perfect sac fly, right? And then at that point, Cal Stark, I think, pops up.
It was Kenny Peebles first.
Right.
He pinch hit and walked.
Cal Stark popped up. But then it was 4 straight, I believe, base hits to secure this win. In the 9th inning with 2 outs, Uh,
I think
could you
each
ask for
one of
anything
them.
better?
Yeah, I think each one of them, except for Dylan Dreiling, were they not down to their last strike?
Dude, I don't remember. My heart was racing. I knew the moment that Blake Burke got that hit to tie the game up, I was just kind of like, this is for SEMO. Like the game he's had, there's no way we lose this, right? Because, I mean, you can't shadow the historic night that he had, the legendary night that he had. So, no, it was one of those nights where just everything kind of it seemed it down, honestly, until the ninth inning. And it just felt like this team found a way. And it's something that, man, this Tennessee team the last several years, if there's a strike to be thrown, this team's not out of the ballgame.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I'm looking at this now. So, yeah, Christian Moore, 3-2 count when he doubled. Blake Burke, 3-2 count when he singled. Okay, Billy Amick was a 3-1 count on his single. And then Dylan Dreiling, 1-0 count. I mean, just right off the bat, you knew nobody was getting to it. It was a gapper. He's already kind of doing the jog down, and before he even gets to first base, he's got the helmet off. Everybody's going crazy, but I mean, just fantastic effort. I think I saw today that it was the first time that it was a 4+ run comeback in a College World Series game since like 2014 or something like that.
Oh yeah, I mean, we were down 9-4, dude. I mean, we were down 5 runs.
Yeah, and you talked about Tennessee giving up the 6th spot and then giving up the 2 spot and still having that fight. I want to go a little bit further into the game. So Tennessee started fighting back. They cut it to 8-7.
9-7.
See, I've got 8-7 here, and then no, you're right. You're right. Yeah, 9-7. I missed a run in the first inning. Yeah, 9-7, and then the 2-run home run in the 7th that
kind of
Florida
took the wins
State
out of sails, right? Yeah.
It's like, man, Tennessee already got the comeback. Didn't fully come back, but they're down by 2, and you're like, okay, this is within reach. Then the 2-run home run happens, and you're like, man, what now?
It was but that didn't phase this team, though. I mean, being able to get the 1 run in the 8th was massive because I know they scored 4 in the 9th, but to score 4 in an inning, I mean, that's improbable. That's so improbable. Sean tunes in. We appreciate you tuning in via YouTube. He says, "Go Vols, baby," with the sunshine emoji and the fire emoji for you guys listening on Spotify later on. No, I mean, so for them to get the 1 run in the 8th inning, that massive, right? Because then it's a 3-run game, not a 4-run game. You feel a lot better about getting 3 runs across. I mean, you don't feel good about it at all, but like, as far as making that tie to, I've always think of like I'm some crazy fan for always thinking there's a way, but then my team does it, and I'm like, all right, I'm not that crazy. It happened. But no, just the way that this team came around, rallied. I mean, honestly, our bullpen didn't do that bad. All right, let's be honest. After the 5th inning, they did give up that one mistake, right? That 2-run home run in the 7th. Other than that, put up 4 innings of zeros from the 5th to the 9th inning to really help us out. Because, I mean, man, Florida State had 9 runs in the blink of an eye, right, in the first 4 innings. And, this team really came back. Florida State had opportunities. There was a lot of mistakes in this game, uncharacteristically.
Yeah,
both teams.
I was going to take that pitching thing one step further. Our starting pitching really didn't do that bad. Stamos didn't do bad. Causey was a little bit off from his normal
Stamos
stuff that we've seen. but his pitches weren't bad. They were where they needed to be. It was just mistakes on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, I think very first batter of the game was a routine play to Christian Moore. Blake Burke just kind of stood there in no man's land, and Stamos gets beat to the bag. Trying to get him out.
Yeah. Blake Burke shouldn't have tried to make that play. I mean, that was Christian Moore was already playing the shift. Yep. Blake Burke's got to know that SEMO is there and to go cover the bag. I mean, I understand it's first game of the World Series. You jittered up, right? You're trying to make a play early, but when he goes out to make that defensive play, it makes it a foot race between the pitcher and the base runner. And I mean, it just kind of, like you said, kind of in no man's land right there. But then obviously you had Billy Amick kind of fumble the ball early. There was another play where Christian Moore made a great defensive play that you see all the time where he runs in really hard and kind of throws that little sidearm kind of like whip throw or whatever while he's on the run. And then Blake Burke just doesn't catch the ball. Like it literally hits the end of his glove, and just a bunch of uncharacteristic plays, right? And I'm talking both sides. Florida State should have had another run, arguably, in the, I don't know if it was the first or the second inning. It was early in the ball game where a ball got to the outfield. The base runner missed the bag, which actually happened again, but we never reviewed it. He missed the bag, goes back to, touches third, but then doesn't get to score. He actually doesn't score in that inning. So that cost Florida State another run there. Florida State had their own fielding errors. The outfielder in the ninth inning, which allowed our inning to begin. That was kind of a bonehead play. It wasn't that hard of a ball to catch that he may look really hard and then didn't even come up with the catch because he was kind of jogging instead of sprinting to get back to the wall, right? Because, the number one rule when it's hit deep is get back, find the wall, then kind of settle down, make that catch, where he didn't really get to do that. He got twisted up, ends up being a very costly mistake, and I believe that's what allowed Kavares Tears to get that triple in.
Yeah.
Florida State made some mistakes, and they should have never allowed. I'm saying all that to say this. That controversial call, right, where it was a check swing, not a check swing. I'll say this. The bat was over the plate. His wrist never broke. It's an opinionated call, just like a pass interference call in football, right? You can't review it. It is what it is. It was called a no strike. We still had to get 3 base hits after that call, it's just one of those things where Florida State, if they had made their plays, Blake Burke doesn't even get to bat. The game's over. But, it is what it is. I don't feel any pity for Florida State. I understand they've kind of taken it in the ringer, or maybe they feel like they have the last year or so with the football committee and now this. But honestly, man, Florida State, they had their opportunities, and for them to, and I know everybody's seen it on social media, but for them to really cling on to that one call costing them the game is pretty embarrassing in my opinion.
Yeah, but I saw a tweet from Wes Rucker. It summed up the entire game. Most of that game was Tennessee's worst performance of the season.
It was.
It turned into the biggest win in God knows how long, and that's 100% correct.
Yeah.
The mistakes, especially towards the beginning, were they were costly, and Tennessee was able to fight back and get the win out of this game. Just going down the stat sheet, obviously 5 for 6 from Christian Moore, home run, triple, 2 doubles, a single in the game. Blake Burke,
cycle,
cycle, and it was in his first 4 at bats too.
That was crazy.
Yeah, how often do you see that right there?
You don't see it. Especially in the World Series.
Yeah, it's you don't see a cycle often, but when you do see it, to have it in 4 consecutive at bats like that, that's hard to do. It's hard to get a cycle anyway, but to do it all like that, just crazy. Blake Burke 3 for 5 in the game. Billy Amick 2 for 5. Dylan Dreiling 4 for 6. Hunter Inslee 1 for 5. Kavares Tears 2 for 5. Dean Curley 1 for 3. Bargo was 0 for 3. Cannon Peebles pinch hit in the 9th and did not record an official at bat, but got a crucial walk. And that was that one.
That walk is what allowed SEMO to get another at bat in the 9th inning, which then allowed the dominoes to just fall right in place, right? So
just absolute. It was really a lot of discipline from him in that at bat too, because he started off 3-0, took a called strike, it was a strike, and then just swings through a pitch and ends up you could tell he wanted that last one, ended up being ball 4. He started to go for it. He never actually went down for the ball, but you could see his arm starting to come down. He was ready to try to fight it off, resisted, got the walk, and then as you mentioned, that's what led to, after the Cal Start pop-up, SEMO coming up to bat, and then the rest is history, man.
Yeah, man. As Bearded Tennessee once put it, and if you guys don't follow him on TikTok, you should. He's a diehard Vol fan like we all are. He kind of mentioned the choke mentality that this Tennessee team's kind of had, almost like that curse, right? He's kind of said, look, after this game, that choke mentality is kind of turned into the clutch mentality. And that hit hard because, honestly, this team is pretty daggum clutch. And I have to agree with him. We're the number 1 seed that came with a heavy weight on our shoulders to get the win, and what was one of the best games I think in the College World Series as far as having everything in it. Right, you had the big innings, You had the home runs, you had the errors, you had the ups and downs. I mean, it was insane. It had everything. But to be clutch like they were there, I mean, I cannot wait to get to our rankings of the clutch batters. But we got some people watching on YouTube. We got some folks watching on Facebook. We appreciate you guys. If y'all have anything, please chime in. Throw it in the comments. We'll read it out loud. We're just out here celebrating some wins. Tennessee is now officially 2-0 in the World Series. We're going to be talking about that second game here coming up. Number 1 overall seed, and now we are 1 win away from the College World Series Finals. Oh man, I'm jittery.
Yeah, and something we hadn't mentioned yet, it's the first time in school history that Tennessee has started 2-0 to put themselves, as I mentioned, in the driver's seat. All you gotta do is win one more game and you're in the finals.
Well, it's the first time we've won 2 games in the World Series, period. I mean, we were 1-6 going into the World Series. We'd obviously had 6 appearances before this year. This is the first time, we've gone over every year except, I believe, in 23. We won 1 game. So,
yep.
This is the year we're going 2-0. We're one win away from the series finale, which would be awesome. But obviously, you got to take it 1 win at a time. Very interested to see how Tony V handles the pitching situation. We kind of have open arms available, but is he going to pitch our Sunday starter on a Wednesday and have him on short rest if we need him, if we make it? Just kind of like that technique. They were talking about it today during the game. Zach Holder just tuned in on Facebook, said KT for president. Dude, KT is hot. I actually kind of want to talk about that a little bit, but I kind of wanted to talk about the second game before I brought it up. But as awesome of a series SEMO's having, KT's putting together what I would think is an MVP type caliber World Series. What would you say about that?
Yes, if it wasn't for the cycle from SEMO.
Come on, bro. See, KT's got 2 dingers, brother. He's driven in 6 RBIs. I mean, he's having a great 2 games, and he needed it. He kind of went cold there for a little bit, but then finally got to the 20 home run mark. 4 Tennessee baseball players now at 20 home runs or more, and I believe 8 of the 9 in the starting lineup are at 10 plus.
Doesn't Blake Burke just need 1 more to reach that 20 mark too, or is he at 18?
I think he needs 1 more. I think Dylan
Dryling's over the 20 mark.
He's over the 20. Who's the other one that's right there at it? Who's the other one? Hold up. Oh man, there's another player that's right at it, dude.
See, you got Christian Moore is over, Billy Amick, Dylan Dreiling, Kavaris Tears. That's all. I
thought there was 2 players right at like 18, 19 home runs, but whatever. Maybe not.
I think it was KT before he got that 20 is what you're probably
I think you're right. And he got that tonight, obviously. So just a massive game. But let's do you have anything from this game before we wrap it up and kind of go on to game 2?
Now let's hit game 2. I'm ready to talk about it.
Let's go for it. So as game 2 gets started, we're going to be talking about our segment 2 sponsor, which is PNLBusinessServices.com. We know firsthand that getting your monthly reporting, invoicing, bill pay, taxes, and other essential business services right is critical. That's why at PNL Business Services, we go beyond bookkeeping by providing you with everything you need in your back office so you can have your time back and the peace of mind to do what you love most, which is building your business. Behind every successful business is a great bookkeeper. Guys, reach out to them to see if this is something for you. Reach out to them at PNLBusinessServices.com. Thank you so much for your continued support of segment 2. And boom, right off the top, it just happened, ladies and gentlemen. Tennessee gets the win over North Carolina 6-1, in which Drew Beam was due, and Drew Beam came through. And let me tell you what, I didn't realize that rhymed, but you know what? Call me Dr. Seuss. I don't care. Look, this was an absolute, I would almost say perfect outing. Drew Beam had 32 pitches thrown in 4 innings.
How often did you see that in today's game?
Just a field day, brother. I mean, he was getting out so quick, so efficient at the dish. I tell you what, it was dang near perfect. In the 4th or 5th inning, he got a little bit of traffic, but he worked through it. Something that I kind of didn't think he was going to, but he did. Went all the way to the 6th inning. Just an awesome outing. Something you wanted to see out of Drew Beam, and he did it in the biggest stage. Game 2, this is arguably the most important game for Tennessee in this World Series to get to the finale. And they honestly made it look easy, man. What do you think?
I agree. I mean, you had both teams just a pitcher's duel through the first 3 innings, and then Tennessee gets 2 runners on, and KT with the 3-run shot, and then you put up another one in the 5th, another one in the 6th, and one more in the 8th for good measure. I mean, after that 3-run home run, you just had that feeling that, hey, Tennessee's winning this one. There's no doubt.
Hey, by the way, look, Kavars Tears, a 2-for-4 day, the only batter in the lineup that got multiple hits, and one was a double and one was a home run. Look, I'm just saying, I think, all right, depending on how this game 3 goes on Wednesday afternoon, I think they had the early game, unfortunately, but I'm just saying look, SEMO may be right above KT, but KT's right there, man. I tell you what, it's so cool to have these guys kind of hitting on all cylinders. You do have some guys that are not having the greatest World Series so far, but I say this, the rest of the lineup's really picking those guys up. I mean, you got guys kind of like Dalton Bargo, who fought so hard to get to this moment and then didn't have a good game yesterday despite, having 18 hits as a team. But, so he got benched for Reese Chapman, once again, took every advantage of the opportunity that he got. You got guys like Cal Stark, who offensively is not doing so hot right now, but I tell you what, I wouldn't trade him for anything on the defense. Cal Stark reminds me so much of a Triple J of the basketball team, all right? Or a Santiago Vescovi, right? Just a guy that offensively you're not going to get that much from him, but if they do get something out of him, that is an absolute plus. But what you get out of that guy in the locker room or in the dugout per se, and then behind the plate in Cal Stark, you can't not have it, right? I mean, he's just one of those guys where you can see it in the emotion from Tony V and the pressers after the game and whatnot. I mean, he almost gets emotional when he talks about Cal Stark. So no doubt in my mind, he means a lot to this team, even though he's kind of not having the best offensive, series so far. But either way, just a really good offensive performance. I think you only had 3 guys go hitless in this game. What more can you ask for? It was for the most part, stress-free winners bracket game 2 of the World Series, and you really took it to them. What a game!
Yeah, absolutely. And hitting on Cal Stark, I mean, there's a reason that he's the starting catcher and not Cannon Peebles, and not taking anything away from Cannon Peebles. He is a really good catcher. He had a fantastic season last year at NC State. But there's a reason that Cal Stark is starting the catcher and not Cannon Peebles right now, and it's because of the leadership that Cal Stark has. And as you mentioned, that offense is just a bonus because Cal Stark can get hot. And I've got a feeling
in the regional and super regional, yeah.
I've just got a feeling that before the College World Series is over with, we're going to see an offensive outburst from Cal Stark. It doesn't have to be home runs. All it's got to be is base hits, and I've just got a feeling that it's going to happen before this College World Series is over with. But, yeah, I mean, you see only 2 spots in the lineup didn't get hits, and that was Cal Stark and then the center field position because Hunter Ensley, man, what a catch.
Didn't even talk about that, have we?
Yeah, hadn't even talked about the catch, but, I mean, was it first inning or second inning?
I think it was the second inning.
Yeah, I mean, a line shot to center field. He's going back. He takes a look at the wall and then just unbelievable catch, slams into it full steam ahead, turns around, jumps up, and he's just fired up. A lot of times when you see guys hit the wall like that, they're laying there for a little bit. They're hurt, but Hunter Ensley said, no, I ain't hurt. He got up and like you were just about to say, hit face first. There's an eye black smear on the outfield wall out there from where he slammed it.
Yeah, he was hurt, unfortunately, but he didn't feel it. The adrenaline was running. The fact that he hit the wall so hard, I mean, the side view angle of that catch was insane. To watch him go full speed, it wasn't like he was able to catch himself. Like, he tried, but watching that side view angle of him running full speed, just fearless, to put his body on the line to get that out, to be able to hang on to the ball after literally full speed running. I mean, probably running dang near 19, 20 miles an hour. I mean, we're talking track speeds here, right? Striking down that ball, slamming into the wall. He did pop right back up, but that was a perfect answer defensively because North Carolina had just made an absolutely outstanding SportsCenter top 10 play.
Yes.
I think it was the third or shortstop. I mean, from his knees, just backhanded it, picked through. Well, I mean, this game started out every bit of a full-on defensive pitcher's duel.
Yeah, because Christian Moore, that hit right there that you're talking about, hits at 115 miles an hour.
Yeah, exactly. And the shortstop just lays out for it, backhands it from his knees, throws him out. I mean, it was just, like I said, the perfect answer defensively to back that up, to let your pitcher know, hey, I got your back. Keep throwing strikes, you know? And that's what Bean did. I think of his first 22 pitches, maybe even 23 pitches, I can't remember, he only threw 2 balls.
Yeah.
That's pretty daggum good. Drew Beam was feeling it up. He was feeling it. Like I said, he was due for this. I mean, so many games he'd go out and get roughed up in the 3rd and 4th inning and not be able to finish 5 innings worth of work. But in this game, he had none of that. I mean, he finished, I think, 5 innings, only pitched 60 to 70 pitches. I don't even think he got to 70.
73 total pitches.
73?
53 of those were strikes.
I mean, that's insane. That's really efficient. Guys, again, we got y'all watching on the YouTube channel. We got you watching on the Facebook channel. I'm sure X is rolling. Guys, if y'all have any comments, please tune in. We're celebrating. We are 2-0 in the College World Series for the first time ever in the history of Tennessee baseball. We are 1 win away from the College World Series finals. Guys, we are on the brink of a natty, and we are all here for it. This is just another week of the golden age of Tennessee athletics, and we're all here for it, and we're not. I mean, it's just, man, it's been a fun team to watch, and I'm so glad to be a part of it. And
yeah, 100%.
This team is hot.
Yeah, they are. And you know, Drew Beam deserves all the credit in the world for this outing that he had, but we can't overlook the bullpen because Kirby Cannell come in after Drew Beam gave up a home run. I think he gave up 2 walks. So it was 2 runners on in the 6th inning. Kirby Cannell comes in and shuts them down in the 6th. He only gave up 1 hit through 2 innings. Nate Snead comes in, doesn't give up a hit. He did have 2 walks, but I mean, they did their job.
So I'm glad go ahead.
I was going to say, when we've got a bullpen that can do that right there and not look like the bullpen that came out in game 2 against Evansville, then Tennessee is going to win a lot of games.
Yeah, and I love what Crazy Frank and Tony V did with our bullpen. If you noticed in game 1 and game 2, game 1 was a game where we had to use a lot of arms, but what they did is they made sure that none of our pitches really threw over 30 pitches for a couple of reasons. 1, you want to keep those guys fresh in case you need them in the next game, but 2, it always kept the opposing offense on their heels. But this game alone, you see him go from Kirby, and you're like, why in the world did they take Kirby out? He was dealing, and Kirby was dealing. I mean, I don't know if you've seen, but I know you've seen it.
Yeah.
And then you look up, and somebody else is in. It's like, well, why'd you do that? But then you realize that they're trying to keep the pitch count low. They did that. Our pitchers were phenomenal. Nate Snead got in kind of a little bit of a bind, but I love that last pitcher's mound visit. If you didn't see it, I've not been in a D1 pitcher's mound visit. I played NAIA for a season, but I can tell you right now, I promise you I know what was said in that mound visit. It was Nate Snead was trying so hard to get that strikeout, to get that 3rd out.
Yeah.
And you could see Blake Burke. You could see, obviously, Cal Stark. Hey, don't try to do too much. You're at 27 pitches. We can't have you going over 30. Pitch to get this strike or pitch to let him hit it. We just need an out.
Let the defense do their job.
Exactly. The very next pitch is right down the pipe, which is a line out to center field. I mean, it's literally like that was so easy to know what was being said in that huddle. But, I mean, pitcher's mound visit, whatever. But that's exactly what needed to happen. It kept him under the 30 pitch count. It keeps his arm fresh because we're going to need all of our guys at any given moment. I know we got a loss to give if you want to say that, but I do not want to lose it. I do not want to lose a single game. I mean, I don't even want to risk it. I know we're really good in rubber matches, but I like having these stress-free games, you know? So I want to keep it rolling. It's been fun to watch.
Yeah, and looking ahead, Tennessee's next ball game, they get 2 days off. You got
Monday and Tuesday. Yep.
Yeah. So tomorrow will be Kentucky and A&M in the nightcap for the winners bracket game, and the early game will be NC State and Florida in the elimination game. Then Tuesday will be the 2 elimination game matchups. So Tennessee does not play until Wednesday. As you mentioned, it is the early game. I'm confident with whoever Tennessee plays in that one, whether it be North Carolina or Florida State, because at that point,
they've used so many pitchers, right? I mean,
well, yes, that point, but also as of late, has Xander Sechrist not been our hottest arm to start games?
That's got to be accurate, but that's got to be the route you go, right? You can't not pitch Xander Sechrist in Game 3, right?
Because here's the thing. All right, you start Xander Sechrist.
I wanted to talk about this because. Look, I think you're on the same page that I'm going.
Yes.
You start Xander Sechrist on a Wednesday game. If you make it to the College World Series Finals, if you make it to Game 3, let's say this is super hypothetical, but we got to talk about it. You're talking about a guy that's only going to be on 4 days rest, having to go right back in the game. But is that a problem? I mean, is that something Tony V is like, hey, with his arm slot and the way he pitches, that's not going to bother our guy at all? Or is that something you really take into consideration? And now you think about, you know, how we treated Vanderbilt in the opening game of the SEC tournament, how we just kind of threw some arms. I mean, we started Nate Snead, for God's sake. You know, is that something that we end up doing? Or I don't know. I mean, you gotta start Xander Sechrist, right?
I think you have to start Xander Sechrist, because if you don't, then wherever you pitch him in the finals, if you make it there, this isn't if still, this isn't guaranteed. But if you make it there, if you don't start Xander Sechrist on Wednesday, he's going to be pitching after 12 days rest, 12 days since his last start, something like that.
It'd be a long wait. Yeah.
I mean, you've got to throw him. And then with
that point, I'm kind of surprised Tony V didn't let him have an inning tonight, just to say, hey, keep the arm a little loose, throw about 10, 15 pitches to kind of stick. But now, again, that's your starter. So, I mean, I kind of understand that. But
here's my thing about Wednesday. All right, so you start Xander Sechrist.
Yes.
You're going to have every single arm available Wednesday, except for probably Drew Beam. And even then, with 2 days rest in between, if needed, you could go with Drew Beam for an inning or two. But you're going to have every single arm available for Wednesday. So I think you go Xander Sechrist. If he does get into trouble, you've got Johnny Holstaff available to you.
What I love the most is we have the whole staff available to us. And, I mean, we've not had to use Kirby more than 2 innings, thank goodness. But Kirby's proven that he could go from a 4th to a 7th inning if he had to. Or, a 5th to an 8th inning if he had to. We've not had to do that, which is great. But, that's what I'm saying. Like, some of these guys that were barely even using an inning or two just to kind of, swap it up. But, I mean, it's just one of those things where we have the whole bullpen available. And if we had to, we could use one guy to shut down a team if it meant getting to the World Series finale.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I don't think it's just Kirby. I am confident that whoever you roll out there, if they're doing well, they can go multiple innings, with the exception of maybe Marcus Phillips and then JJ Garcia. I hadn't really seen him. I think he's thrown 1, maybe 2 innings at the max, but it's also been those midweek games where you're trying to get a lot of arms in. But Nate Snead can give you 3-4 innings. Kirby can go 4 or 5 innings. I mean, Aaron Combs threw 3 2/3 the other night. I mean, you've got, and
he'll probably be available. Aaron Combs will probably be available Wednesday. He'll be on 4 days rest.
Oh yeah, because he didn't throw tonight. Yeah, like I said, you're going to have everybody except maybe Drew Beam available on Wednesday. So you've got literally everybody available on Wednesday. That's why I've got so much confidence that Tennessee, whoever they play, either Florida State or North Carolina, they're going to win on Wednesday.
What about them Vols, baby? Look, we got stuck in the bracket with the ACC teams, and all we've done is handle business, brother. I mean, that's all we've done so far. We look, Florida State almost had us, but win by a mile or a win by a foot, a win is a win. All right. So and then North Carolina, who's arguably better than Florida State this year. I mean, just like I said, the boys made it look easy, and I'm so thankful for that, because this is not a night where I could handle another FSU type game, brother. I'm telling you, man, and I feel like our boys always try to make it happen, but I got a little frustrated because Drew Beam was dealing. they go through this daggum catcher or umpire change, which I didn't understand. I never seen the umpire get hurt. So I'm like, what is going on? Why are we waiting 30 minutes? And we're in the middle of an inning. It's not like we were, swapping sides. I mean, they got a pitcher's change, which I thought it was an inside job, conspiracy theorists, that they were going through a pitcher's change unexpectedly. So they had to buy some time to get him warmed up. But I do think that kind of hurt Drew Beam just a little bit. But other than that, man, just a total game, complete dominant performance. Like I said, to have a stress-free win in the winning bracket of the College World Series, that's a massive check. That's a massive check mark, dude. I mean, for a team that's got it, this team's got it, and they're one win away, man. I'm so excited, excited.
Yep, you and me both. So, do you have anything else on this game or on the College World Series before we move on to our final segment?
I just want to know if Kentucky has called us to say Happy Father's Day.
I haven't gotten the call, but maybe you're.
I haven't either, brother.
Maybe Rick Barnes has.
Somebody get Jay Hayes on the phone, brother. Come on now. I'm joking. All right.
Yeah.
That's it, man. That's all I had. I'm ready to get on to this last and final segment. I got really boring.
Yeah, so segment 3, our segment 3 sponsor is Kaizen Painting. Do you want a colorful life? Kaizen is a painting and drywall company that provides residential, commercial, exterior, and interior services. At Kaizen Painting, we understand the importance of a beautifully painted home and properly installed and repaired drywall. We're here to bring your vision to life. We care about providing you with a personalized, efficient, and quality service. If you live in Knoxville and surroundings, contact us for a free estimate at KaizenPainting.com. Color your life the Kaizen way. So we very much appreciate you, Kaizen Painting, for being our third segment sponsor. And Skylar, what is it we're about to do here in segment number 3?
Dude, we are about to rank our top 5 clutch hitters under the Tony V era. Dude. All right, so are we doing this from like 5 to 1, or are we doing this from 1 to 5? How are we doing this?
Yeah, we'll do it 5 to 1. And for those that maybe have not watched it or listened to it, or I guess it would be listened to it. So Skylar and I listened to the Eric Ainge show out of or 99.1 Sports Animal pretty much every day. And they had this segment called Calling Your Shots, where you rank blindly. So you get one name at a time and you rank blindly 1 to 5 the names given. Well, we're not going to do that, but we're going to take the 5 names that were used on that and rank them 1 to 5. So, Skylar, do you want to go first with your number 5, or do you want me to?
Okay, so I thought we were ranking what we thought was the top 5 here. I didn't use the names that they used.
Okay, that's fair. If you want to do that, that's fair.
All right, my number 5 hitter who only played for a season, Zane Denton.
Yeah.
Zane Denton. I mean, the biggest one that we can think of is actually in our highlight video to start the podcast, and that was that. I mean, just absolutely clutch bomb against Clemson in the was it Super Regional? Regional.
Yeah, it was the regional.
And I mean, he got us the win, dude. I mean, what more could you ask for in the 9th inning with 2 outs, and he just delivers. That was pretty clutch, brother. That has got to be my number 5. Unfortunately, things didn't work out for him this year, but he was definitely my number 5. Oh, look at there. He's right there. I'll be down. No,
yeah.
Sorry.
So,
my language.
So I am going to use the names that were on there. But my number 5 is going to be Jordan Beck. Jordan Beck at Tennessee. He hit. Sorry, it's loading, but Jordan Beck at Tennessee. He could knock the cover off the ball. I mean, He had a lot of home runs at Tennessee, but he could also go really cold from the plate, which is why I'm ranking him at number 5. I mean, for his career at Tennessee, he hit 284. He had 34 total home runs. I mean, he's up there high on the home run list. But I mean, he also had 133 career strikeouts at Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, he's hit or miss out there. That's why I'm ranking him at number 5. But credit to him, he is the first Vol from that 2022 team. Well, I guess other than Ben Joyce, but for a first position player to make it to the show.
Yep.
So
absolutely.
I mean,
and deservedly so. I'm sorry, I have to admit he did not make my list, but it's because I kind of went with I actually nailed I missed by 2, but I kind of went with a little bit more recent players, but I think you'll understand why.
Yeah.
Because at number 4, I got Kavares Tears. Kavares Tears, and the reason why I first thought of this was the Vanderbilt game 2 years ago, last year.
Last year, that was the game that turned our season
We
around.
were down by 2 in the 9th inning, and we had back-to-back solo bombs by our freshman, Dylan Dreiling and Kavares Tears.
All right, so with you saying the 2 names were different, I know Dylan Dreiling's on your list. Where do you have him?
No, I can't give that away.
No, that's fair. No, Kavares Tears, that's a very good name to put there.
Yeah, he's my number 4. I'm sorry, that's a little bit too recent, I guess, but he is absolutely a clutch. I mean, look at what he's doing. I mean, this is insane. This is their second full season, right, of playing as a full-time starter. And I can't think of anybody, honestly, better to have at the number 4 spot than Kavares Tears.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. If I was to go away from this list right here, Kavares Tears has got to make that list for me as well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
No doubt about it. My number 4, at least based on this list right here, is going to be Zane Denton. You mentioned his 1 season in Knoxville. It was fantastic. I mean, one of the clips on our intro video is the home run against Clemson. He also had a clutch home run in the College World Series, I believe, or it might have been multiple. I mean, he was a fantastic player. Like you said, unfortunately, couldn't make it, or other circumstances where he didn't come back this year. Also wish him well. He did announce his transfer destination to Austin Peay for next season. Hopefully everything goes well for him. But yeah, he had some great moments in the Tennessee uniform. He also had 62 strikeouts in 66 career games in Knoxville. So you're almost averaging a strikeout a game. He's kind of hit or miss as well, but his hits, they were clutch hits. So he makes number 4 on my list.
Very nice. So my number 3 is actually on this list here. Number 3 is Christian Moore. Now, I know you're saying like, whoa, that's too far down, brother. No, it's not. I think that's a pretty fair place to have him. He is raking. He's got the most home runs in Tennessee history, but we're talking clutch hitting, okay? Christian Moore's pretty daggum good, all right? But he's just not the best on my list, all right? I'm sorry. That's just how I feel. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so Christian Moore makes number 3 on my list as well.
Look at that. We think alike. That a boy.
Yeah, and it's because, like you mentioned, it's clutch hitting. Christian Moore, now he proved in that College World Series game 1 that he can hit in the clutch when he needs to, and he's done it a couple different times. But
that's why he's number 3.
Christian Moore batting in that leadoff spot, he's more of the let's get it started, and then somebody else is going to be the one to bring me in and get that clutch hit. That's why he ranks down a little bit on my list, but I mean, you can't deny that he is clutch. I mean, 33 home runs this season, 60 total in his Tennessee career, and I mean, he bats 341 for a career at Tennessee, 207 total hits overall. I mean, it's insane the numbers that he has. But, we mentioned this is clutch hitting. And Christian Moore batting in the leadoff spot most of the time. He's a table setter. He's not that clutch guy.
Clutch hitting. That's I know you got a guy pretty high up there because obviously I haven't said his name, and I don't have him in my top 5 at all, so I kind of feel bad. But at my number 2, it's got to be the Drew Gilbert. We all seen that home run, that absolute 9th inning grand slam to win the game with the bat flip about 45 feet in the air. I mean, because why not? That dude's a dog, all right, and he's absolutely clutch. The definition of clutch. Wasn't the best hitter of all time, didn't have the most home runs of all time, but when you needed a big bat in a big moment, who better than to have Drew Gilbert at the plate, and a guy that's not the biggest guy either, but man, he's got a big bat.
Yeah, so my number 2 is going to be Jared Dickey.
You went with the number 1. Okay.
Look,
I got you.
Look, Jared Dickey, man, he is a guy that he was oft injured at Tennessee. I mean, in 2022, he only played 40 total games. 2023, he did play in 63, but there was times where he was DH just because he was too hurt to play in the field.
Yeah.
But, man, it seemed like every time that he came up to the plate and Tennessee needed a hit, he was getting that hit or he was getting on base in one way or another.
Jared Dickey is such a good contact hitter, too.
Yes.
Which is going to play into my number one as well. But, no, Jared Dickey's a very great person to have at the number 2 spot. But now let's go ahead and talk about that number 1 because I already know who it is. So go ahead and tell me because you don't know who my number 1 is.
Yeah, I mean, number 1 has got to be Drew Gilbert because
yeah,
I mean, you mentioned it. He was never the best hitter. He was never the most powerful hitter. But it seemed like every time that a big moment came up, Drew Gilbert was in the middle of it. And he would deliver. I mean, obviously, hands down, one of the greatest baseball moments of all time is the one in our intro video. Game 1 of the regionals in 2021. You're down 8-5, and Drew Gilbert just cranks a curveball probably 500 feet over the right center field fence.
I'm pretty sure that ball is still in the air, actually.
It's got to be. And then him like trouncing around the bases after that, firing up the crowd, throwing his helmet, all that. A lot of other teams' fans hated that. A lot of sports writers hated that. But, man, it was all fun. And the environment there in Knoxville after he hit that was absolutely insane. So, I mean, he's got to be number 1 on my list. And going one off from that, a huge hit in the SEC championship game, a solo home run against Florida in 2022. I mean, like I said, every time Tennessee needed that big hit, Drew Gilbert's right there in the mix.
Absolutely. I can't agree more. That's why I had him at number 2. But my number 1, unfortunately, gets some recency bias. As you know who it is. It's Dylan Dreiling. Yep. It's Dylan Dreiling. I mean, the dude is a dog. There's literally nobody I'd rather have at the plate to get a base hit in a big spot than Dylan Dreiling. The dude just delivers. All right. And no, I'm not just saying this because the Florida State win. Dylan Dreiling has delivered all season long. Like I could probably count on my hand the number of games he's gone over. I mean, he's that dude. I mean, like I said, another guy is not the most powerful. Now, he does hit a lot of long balls. He's not the best in the average department, but as far as just needing a base hit or just to get a guy on base, that is one of the most patient batters that we have in our lineup. And he will work the count, find his pitch, and deliver in the big moment. And, yeah, Dylan Dreiling's my guy. And again, the Vanderbilt game last year, him and KT, that probably stamped their clutchness moment in my heart because that was their first year ever starting for Tony V, and they both went. I mean, as freshmen, went in the bottom of the 9th or top of the 9th. Technically, we were the visiting team to tie that game up. It was just crazy, man. And so, yeah, Dylan Dreiling's my number 1 as the clutch hitting department under Tony V, and let the haters hate. I don't care. He's my man.
So, I mean, if we were going the best hitters in the Tony Vitello era, and I wasn't going off this list, mine would look very similar to yours. I would probably have to go. I'm still going to stick Drew Gilbert right now at number 1, but Dylan Dreiling is like 1B.
Yeah.
But
I think if I redid it, I would probably actually scratch. I love him to death, but because of the one and done type thing, I would actually probably scratch Zane Denton and put Jared Dickey at the number 5 spot.
Yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at. I would go Drew Gilbert 1B would be Dreiling, then it's Simo, Tears, and Jared Dickey. It's would be my list.
It's got to be. I mean, those guys just deliver, man. That's
and to your point about Dylan Dreiling, I mean, he is the second leading, and I believe this is leading into today. So these stats don't include today. He's second on the team in RBIs with 67. So, I mean,
he's your cleanup batter for a reason.
Yes.
The dude just rakes with runners in scoring position.
Yeah. He is third in hits on the team. So, Dylan Dreiling stats on the season, 228 at-bats, 75 hits, 66 runs scored, 20 home runs, 67 RBIs, slugging percentage at 689. He's also walked 49 times this year to only 57 strikeouts this year.
I'm telling you, dude's a dog. Dude is a dog. Strikes out less than a quarter of a time he's at the plate. I mean,
Yeah.
That's my dude. Now look, my family, we love to watch the game together. Joe Howe, we appreciate you tuning in through Facebook, man. You know, my mom loves SEMO. That's her man's. My dad loves Kavaris Tears. And I'm just sitting there and I'm like, well, I love the whole team, but I guess I need to pick a guy. And then finally I was just like, Double D's my guy, dude. And then, you know, my dad had to crack a joke about Double D's. It was funny, but it was all good. And not like I couldn't think. Like I said, clutch hitting. Dylan Dreiling is the guy. Like front and center. He's going to go down as probably one of the biggest clutch hitters in the last two years. So,
yeah. So I guess if y'all have all picked your guys, I'm going to have to go Hunter Inslee. I mean,
dude, I wanted him to have such a big game. After that catch in the outfield, I said, he's going to have a good day at the plate now. Like, this is about to be his game. And then, unfortunately, he got hurt. I mean, I guess the adrenaline kind of ran off, and that hammy started hurting him a little bit. But, man, I was hoping he would have a game. But Hunter Inslee's a good pick. I like Hunter Inslee.
Because, I mean, and I never did see who won the MVP of the Super Regionals. Because Hunter Inslee had to have been up there for the Super Regionals that he had.
I think it was Burke.
That's fair.
I think Blake Burke won the.
Yeah, he also had a good series. I mean, it could be any number of guys. I mean, Blake Burke, Hunter Inslee, Cal Stark with the 3 home runs in the Super Bowl.
Well, that's what I love. You kind of snart, said something about the bottom of the lineup, or maybe it was another buddy of mine it was another buddy of mine that was actually at Omaha. Funny story. I got a buddy at Omaha right now. His name's Alan Anthony. Shout out to Alan. He was at the game, sending me some video. He said, "What kind of behind the scenes footy you looking for?" I said, "Anything that involves Tony Vitello. Shoot it my way." So he did. He sent me videos, like some warm ups and whatnot. But he admitted to me that he left in the 8th inning of the Florida State game.
Oh no!
No way! No way! Left the ballpark in the 8th inning. And so I said, "Brother, what in the world were you thinking? You made the trip to Nebraska from Middle Tennessee, and you leave the game early." And he just kind of wrote me. He said, "Man, I just didn't think the bottom of the lineup was going to come through." And I said, "Brother, we don't have a bottom of the lineup. Like, what are you talking about?" And he was like, "Yeah, that's fair." He's like, "But I'm telling myself that if I'd have stayed, we wouldn't have came back. So I'm okay with leaving." I'm like, "Oh, whatever, dude." I was like, "Thank you for taking one for the team, I guess, if that's how you feel." I said, "But man, there is no way, even if I know we're losing, right? Even if it's a football game or something like that, and I know we're losing, I ain't leaving early." Like no way. Like, I don't know, man. When, like I said at the beginning of the show, if there's a strike to be thrown, this team's not out of it.
Absolutely. But guys, we know this was late tonight, but we wanted to get in this North Carolina game because Skylar's got a little trip coming up, so wasn't going to be available the rest of this week. But we will be back next Sunday, and hopefully, we're talking about your Tennessee Vols as the national champions, man.
We talking some rings here, brother. We talking some rings, huh? We ring chasing, baby. Come on, hit me up, dude. Let's go, dude. We are one win away, dude. And either way it happens, we're rematching, right? Like, it's either North Carolina or FSU. It's hard to beat a team twice. I understand that. But guys, this is as close as you're going to get. You can't come this far just to come this far. Like, let's go. Put on more steam, baby. Let's go, dude. Yeah, you got anything else to close out the show?
Well, I mean, what's one of the General Nealon's maxims when the brakes are go against you? Don't let up. Put on more steam. I mean,
why do you think Christian Moore does this every time he rounds second base, brother?
Yeah,
I'm telling you, he's doing it. He knows, dude.
Look. So, but before we close out, so we got Big Orange right here. He said, "What did the Florida State man have to say after your interview?" So Jesse and I talked all throughout the game the other night. He's a fantastic guy. He said, "Man, that was a fantastic game." He said, "Obviously, I'm disappointed that we lost." But he said, "We took the number 1 team in the nation down to the wire, gave them all that they wanted." He said, I mean, y'all have a fantastic team, and y'all deserve the win. We talked a little bit about the controversial check swing thing. I told him, I said, personally, I thought he did go around, but it was so close to 50-50. It's just based on who you are at that point. One umpire could have called it a strike. Obviously, the home plate umpire and the third base umpire both called it a no swing.
It's okay. They got the makeup call on that tonight at the North Carolina game because Burke absolutely did not swing, and they definitely called it. It is what it is. Yeah,
but he said, I kind of thought it was a swing. He said, but at the same time, you're 100% correct. It was a 50-50 call. He was happy for us. He said, obviously, I wish we would have won, but no, he's a really cool guy. I like Jesse, and I look forward to if Tennessee and Florida State play again. I look forward to talking to him again, and maybe in the future, if Tennessee and Florida State play in other sports, I look forward to working with him again. I mean, we talked about it some. The college huddle is a fantastic thing that we're a part of. That's how we met Jesse. We got to talking whenever we figured out Tennessee and Florida State was going to be playing, and that's when we decided to do the interview with each other. So, fantastic thing that we're a part of. We're very thankful that we're able to be a part of it. And there's a lot of great folks in there, Jesse being one of them.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, Big Orange goes on to say, people are saying we got lucky. Like, who cares what people say? I mean, look, of course we got lucky to be in this position, but also the boys had to believe and to get those hits to make everything happen. You put the ball in play, good things happen. And that's exactly what they did. You can't take away that. People can say what they're going to say. Dude, I can promise you there's not been a single national champion in any sport that somebody didn't have something to say about it, right?
Yeah.
But who cares? Who cares, dude? We're out here. We're winning. We're making the most of the opportunity. We're now 2-0 in the World Series. We clearly went back. Ball never lies, right? We went out there and took care of business in game 2. I mean, it is what it is. Now, Florida State has every opportunity now to do the same thing. And, Big Orange goes on to say, he likes our show, man. We appreciate that, man. That's the biggest compliment we can get, dude. So, that's my piece on it. Of course, I mean, people are going to say what they're going to say, but that's because they ain't us, brother. That's all it is.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, what kind of team are you if you don't have a little bit of luck?
Dude, I'd rather be lucky than good any day. I swear, I say that every day I go golfing. I say that every I mean, I'm telling you, dude. I chunk it, but it's in the fairway, brother. I don't care. It's in the fairway. Like it's just dude, look, we're in this position. We put ourselves in that position. It's up to the boys to make the most of that advantage, and I think they've done that thus far. They almost had a rough game 1, but they believed in themselves, and they absolutely created the magic to come back. I'm not gonna say the umpire helped them. I think the umpire just put it in the boys' hands. Like, he didn't want to end the game on a controversial call. So he let the boys play it out. I think that's the best move you can make. Let the boys play it out. Ball never lost. And we still had to get 3 base hits after that. And they did it.
Yeah.
So I can't take that away from them. I mean, they went out and earned it. And like I said, Florida State had their opportunities from the outfielder dropping the daggone pop fly. That was deep, but he should have absolutely called it in the 9th inning to get that inning started. Their catcher dropped what Cal Stark was freaking hosed by a mile at the plate. Catcher drops it. Their third baseman throws a wild ball to first base, which pulls the first baseman off early in the game, which allows our runner to get on, and we ended up scoring that guy. Look, there was so many opportunities Florida State had. They had base running errors, right? They could have scored another one off of a guy who missed third base. Florida State had their opportunities, but both sides were very sloppy early on, and it was all about who was going to be the cleaner, better, more opportunistic team at the end of the game, and that was undoubtedly Tennessee.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll finish it off with this comment right here from Big Orange. It will feel amazing if Tennessee wins it all. So you know what, Tennessee, let's go out and win it all, baby. Win it for Vol Nation.
Go Big Orange, baby.
Yeah, it's been go Big Orange, man. Guys.
I'm a ball for life, y'all. Bleed orange and white, y'all. Will till I die, y'all. I'm a ball for life, yeah. Raised up on John Ward, giving 6 in the checkerboard till I'm gone.